Welcome to Ping 24 Updates, your daily dose of what's happening around the world. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. The world was stunned by the announcement from Manila, a city already accustomed to the ebb and flow of political drama, but never before had it witnessed news of this magnitude. The air was thick with anticipation as journalists gathered, sensing history in the making. Deep beneath the lush, rugged mountains of Mindanao, a massive, rare earth deposit had been discovered, one of the largest ever found in Southeast Asia. The news sent shockwaves through scientific and economic communities alike. Headlines blazed from Times Square to Tokyo, from London to Sydney, signaling a seismic shift in global resources. The world's media scrambled to cover the story, recognizing its potential to alter the balance of power in critical industries. The Philippine government declared the find could reshape the global supply of critical minerals for decades to come, promising a new era of opportunity and responsibility for the nation. Deep in Mindanao's highlands, years of quiet, painstaking geological work had finally paid off. Teams of Filipino geologists, often working in challenging conditions, had uncovered what could be a turning point for their country. Suddenly, geologists, economists, and strategists worldwide scrambled to assess the implications. Boardrooms buzzed with urgent meetings, and research labs lit up with activity as experts pored over the initial reports. The initial figures were staggering: neodymium, praseodymium, dysprosium, and terbium, vital for everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to missile guidance systems and renewable energy technologies, were all present in abundance, far exceeding early expectations. For decades, the world had sought alternatives to a fragile supply chain dominated by a single nation. Manufacturers and governments alike had worried about shortages and price spikes. Now, the Philippines had found one. The discovery promised not just economic growth but a chance to redefine the nation's role on the world stage. Manila erupted in a mix of pride, excitement, and chaos as officials addressed the world. The city's streets buzzed with speculation and hope for a brighter future. "This is a gift to the Filipino people," declared the Secretary of Trade and Industry, promising a new future and a place on the world stage. He spoke of jobs, investment, and the responsibility to manage this resource wisely. The peso soared, and speculation ran wild on the stock exchange. Investors from around the globe watched as the Philippine market surged, eager to be part of this unfolding story. For a world dependent on these obscure metals, the news was a game changer. New trade routes were imagined, and industries began to rethink their supply strategies overnight. One country's monopoly was suddenly threatened by a new titan. The global balance of power in technology and manufacturing was shifting before everyone's eyes. The Mindanao discovery wasn't just about minerals, it was about power, technology, and the future of the global economy. The world's most advanced industries now looked to the Philippines with anticipation. The world watched as a new chapter began in the southern Philippines. Journalists and analysts flocked to Mindanao, eager to witness history firsthand. Mindanao, once quiet and overlooked, was now the center of global attention. Local communities felt the weight of expectation and the promise of transformation. The stakes had never been higher. Every decision from here on would shape not just the Philippines but the world's technological future. The Philippines stood on the brink of transformation, its people filled with hope, determination, and a sense that their time had finally come. The global reaction was swift and dramatic. Newsrooms around the world buzzed with urgent updates as anchors broke the story to millions of viewers. Headlines flashed across screens capturing the magnitude of what had just unfolded. Rare earth mining stocks tumbled or soared, depending on their ties to Southeast Asia. Investors watched in disbelief as fortunes changed in real time, with some companies gaining billions in value while others faced sudden losses. Commodity traders scrambled to predict the long-term impact. Phones rang off the hook as analysts debated whether this was a short-term shock or the beginning of a new era for global minerals. The discovery threatened to end the scarcity that had kept prices high and supply chains tense. For years, manufacturers had worried about shortages. Now, the prospect of abundant supply sent ripples through every industry reliant on these critical materials. Diplomats worked overtime. The US and EU saw a chance to diversify critical mineral supplies. Behind closed doors, urgent meetings were held to strategize and secure new alliances, hoping to reduce dependence on a single source. Japan and South Korea quickly signaled interest in partnership and investment. Their leaders dispatched envoys, eager to ensure their industries would have access to the newfound resources. The geopolitical map was redrawn overnight, creating new opportunities and tensions. Old alliances were tested, and new rivalries emerged as countries vied for influence over the future of rare earths. In Beijing, the shock was palpable. China's dominance was under threat for the first time in a generation. Officials met in urgent sessions, weighing their next move as the world watched closely. State media warned the Philippines to manage its wealth wisely, hinting at the high stakes. Commentators debated the global consequences, and the message was clear: the balance of power was shifting. For the Philippines, the attention was exhilarating and overwhelming. Suddenly, the nation found itself at the center of a global storm, with every move scrutinized by the world's press. Embassies in Manila were flooded with inquiries, investment banks prepared delegations. The city became a hub of diplomatic activity, as foreign representatives rushed to secure meetings with key officials. The world wanted answers. Was the discovery real? Could it truly change the global supply chain? Or was it just another overhyped story? How fast could it be developed? Experts debated timelines, while engineers on the ground raced to assess the site's true potential. Who would the Philippines choose as partners? The world's biggest economies lined up, each offering deals and promises, hoping to secure a stake in the future. The nation was no longer a bystander, it was now a gatekeeper to the future. For the first time, the Philippines held the keys to a resource that could reshape the world. The pressure and the opportunity were immense. Every decision would echo for decades, shaping not just the nation's destiny but the world's as well. What are rare earths, and why do they matter so much? Rare earth elements, or REs, are the hidden drivers of modern technology. Essential for everything from smartphones to electric vehicles. They're not truly rare, but finding them in mineable concentrations is. A pinch of the right rare earth can transform materials, giving us powerful magnets, vibrant screens, and efficient batteries. They're critical for green energy wind turbines, EVs, and more. Defense systems, from smart bombs to advanced radar, depend on them. Without a stable supply, nations risk falling behind in technology and security. Mindanao's deposit reportedly contains both common and scarce heavy rare earths, a jackpot for tech and defense. This find could power the 21st century economy and secure the future for nations worldwide. The stakes are global, and the race is on. For decades, China has dominated the global rare earths market, leveraging massive state support to outcompete rivals and establish a near-total grip on both mining and processing. This dominance didn't happen overnight. It was the result of long-term planning, government subsidies, and a willingness to undercut prices until other nations' industries collapsed or gave up. This monopoly gave Beijing powerful leverage over the world's supply chains, leverage it has not hesitated to use during diplomatic disputes, sometimes threatening to cut off access to these critical materials to gain political advantage. Now, the discovery of vast rare earth deposits in Mindanao stands as a direct challenge to that dominance, offering a new source outside China's control and sparking hope for greater supply chain security. The Philippines, with its strategic alliances with the US and close ties to Japan and Europe, is uniquely positioned to build a secure, non-Chinese supply chain. This could fundamentally reshape the global rare earths landscape, reducing dependence on a single source. Breaking China's stranglehold would reduce geopolitical risk for countless industries, from electronics and electric vehicles to renewable energy and defense, all of which rely on rare earths for critical components. But mining is only half the battle. Processing rare earths is a complex, highly technical, and often polluting process. Currently, the Philippines lacks the advanced infrastructure and expertise needed to refine these minerals at scale, making international cooperation essential. International partners like the US, Australia, and Japan see an opportunity to help build this capacity, offering technology, investment, and know-how to develop a cleaner, more resilient supply chain. If successful, a new supply chain could rebalance global power, foster innovation, and create a bloc of techno-democracies that share both resources and values, making the world less vulnerable to single-point failures. For China, this is more than just economic competition, it's a strategic threat and the potential loss of a key foreign policy tool that has shaped global relations for years. The stage is set for a new era of competition, with Mindanao at its heart as nations race to secure their future in a rapidly changing world. The world is watching closely to see who will take the lead in this high-stakes contest, as headlines and boardrooms buzz with anticipation. The balance of power is shifting, and the outcome will shape the next chapter of global industry and diplomacy. For the Philippines, hope is soaring. Economists predict billions in annual revenue, funding infrastructure, education, and healthcare. The discovery is a source of national pride and a chance to redefine the country's future. Students see new opportunities at home. Business leaders anticipate a boom in supporting industries. In Mindanao, the promise is personal: jobs, better schools, and lasting peace. Local leaders dream of using the wealth to address poverty and conflict. The government promises transparency and a sovereign wealth fund to benefit future generations. This time, they vow, things will be different. The vision: a transformed, resilient, and equitable Philippines. The nation stands on the edge of a golden age. Amid the excitement, Mindanao remembers the scars of past mining disasters. Environmental destruction and broken promises haunt local communities. The highlands are rich in biodiversity and vital water sources. Large-scale mining threatens both. Indigenous peoples fear for their ancestral lands and way of life. Philippine law requires their consent, but trust is fragile. The risk of corruption looms, as resource wealth can fuel graft and inequality. Locals worry that profits will bypass them, leaving only pollution and division. The dream of prosperity is shadowed by the nightmare of past injustices. Without strong safeguards, the rare earth boom could become another curse. Mindanao's caution is a warning: progress must not repeat old mistakes. The world needs green minerals, but not at the cost of green landscapes. The Philippines must set a new standard for sustainable, responsible mining. This means strict environmental protection, advanced techniques, and transparent operations. Water management and land rehabilitation must be priorities from day one. Social responsibility is crucial. Indigenous rights and community benefits must be central. True partnership means equity, royalties, and real investment in local development. Oversight must be independent, with civil society at the table. The goal: a global model proving resource extraction and stewardship can go hand in hand. The world is watching for a new way forward. The Mindanao discovery thrusts the Philippines into the heart of global geopolitics. The nation now holds a resource the world's powers desperately want. The US and allies offer partnership, technology, and transparency. China offers speed and capital. Each path carries risks: dependency, security, or loss of sovereignty. Manila could diversify partners or create a national champion to retain control. Every choice will shape the nation's future and its place in the Indo-Pacific. The stakes are enormous, and the world is watching. The next moves will define the Philippines for decades. The crossroads is here. The Mindanao discovery is a crossroads, a chance to redefine the nation's destiny. The right choices could launch a Philippine-century prosperity, equity, and global leadership. Transparent governance, responsible mining, and wise alliances are essential. But the wrong path, corruption, environmental ruin, and division, could turn blessing to curse. The future depends on political will, integrity, and an engaged citizenry. This is a test of national character and vision. The world watches, not just for economic reasons, but for the lessons this story will teach. The tension between development and conservation, justice and profit, is universal. The Philippines stands at the threshold. Its next move will echo for generations. The choice is now. Is